Alyssa Cheng lived a life most only dreamed of, or so it seemed. Her Instagram feed was a cascade of perfection. Sunlight always hit her just right. She sipped champagne on private jets. Designer bags dangled from her arm. Each post was a tiny, glossy magazine cover. She was the star of her own luxurious movie, a movie everyone watched, and a movie everyone, it turned out, had paid for in ways they didn't yet understand. It was a beautiful, shimmering lie.
Her followers numbered in the hundreds of thousands. They adored her. They typed goals. Under her pictures, they asked where she bought her clothes, her happiness. Alyssa would reply vaguely, mysteriously. She cultivated an air of effortless wealth, of attainable aspiration if you just tried hard enough or were born lucky enough, like she was or like she pretended to be. This illusion was her most prized possession. It was also her most fragile.
Yet sometimes, tiny cracks appeared in the facade. A reflection in sunglasses showing a less glamorous scene. A brand tag that denied any collaboration. A comment from an old school friend, quickly deleted. Is that really you? Alyssa Cheng wasn't always Alyssa Cheng. Her real name was simpler, more common. Lost in the phone book. She grew up far from the penthouses and parties. Her family lived in a small, cramped flat. Walls were thin. Dreams were big. Her parents worked hard. Ordinary jobs, ordinary lives. They worried about bills, about the future. Alyssa watched them, and she wanted something different, something more, something shiny. In school, she was quiet, almost invisible. She wasn't popular. She wasn't a star athlete or a brilliant student. She was just there. She spent hours looking at fashion magazines, at celebrity websites. She saw lives filled with glamour, with excitement, things her own life lacked. A deep ache of longing settled in her, a desire to escape the mundane, to be someone else, someone noticed, someone envied. The internet arrived. It was a window, then it became a door, a portal to a million other lives. She discovered influencers, people who were famous for being themselves, or at least a version of themselves. They had a voice, they had an audience, they had things, beautiful things. Alyssa watched them. Then came the decision, a conscious choice. If she couldn't be rich, she would act rich. If she couldn't be glamorous, she would project glamour. Alyssa Cheng was born, not in a hospital, but in the calculated curation of a social media profile. She chose a new name, a new backstory, a new life. It was a performance, and she was the lead actress, director, and scriptwriter, all in one. The first steps were small, tentative. She borrowed a dress from a cousin, one with a designer label. She posed by a fancy car. It belonged to her friend's father, just for a few minutes. A quick snap. The caption hinted it was hers. Weekend vibes, she wrote. A tiny lie. It felt strange, thrilling. No one questioned it. The likes trickled in, more than before. It was a start, a validation. She learned quickly the tricks of the trade, how to use filters to mimic a golden hour glow, how to angle the camera to make a small space look grand. She studied the language of luxury, the nonchalant mentions of brands, the art of the humble brag. She invented stories, this vintage find. Maintaining the illusion became a full-time job, a stressful, demanding job. She rented designer bags by the week, sometimes just for a day, enough time for a photo shoot. She'd pose in the lobbies of expensive hotels, sipping a single glass of water, pretending she was a guest. She never stayed the night, couldn't afford it. The photos suggested otherwise. They suggested a life of endless indulgence. She faked sponsorships, created mock-up collaborations with high-end brands. She'd tag them in her posts, thank them for gifts they never sent, hoping her followers wouldn't check, or that the brands wouldn't notice, or care. It was about creating an image of desirability, that she was someone brands wanted to work with, someone important, someone successful. The silence from the brands felt like tacit approval. Her stories of travel became legendary. Just back from Bali, she'd post with a perfectly tanned selfie. Maya Tan remembered a different Alyssa, a quiet girl from their high school. Her name wasn't Cheng then. It was something plain, unassuming, like the girl herself. Maya hadn't thought about her in years, not until Alyssa Cheng's dazzling Instagram profile appeared on her suggested follows list. Maya frowned. She clicked. The name was different, but the face was familiar, hauntingly so. She scrolled through the feed, each photo more opulent than the last. Private jets, exotic beaches, champagne flutes. Maya was stunned. This couldn't be the same girl, the shy, awkward girl from her memories. How could she afford such a life? Maya knew Alyssa's family background. It was modest, very modest. A sense of disbelief washed over her, followed by a strong, undeniable curiosity. Something wasn't right. Maya started paying closer attention. She had a keen eye for detail. She noticed small things. A cheap plastic bracelet Alyssa used to wear in school, now peeking out from under a Cartier cuff. A reflection in a Parisian cafe window that looked suspiciously like a local bakery. A heart caught in the ruse. Darren Coe was everything Alyssa pretended to be. Genuinely wealthy, from an established family. He was also kind, perhaps a little too trusting. He stumbled upon Alyssa's profile. He was captivated, not just by her beauty, but by her supposed drive, her entrepreneurial spirit, as she called it. He saw a fellow traveler in the world of success. He sent her a message, a polite, admiring message. Alyssa was thrilled and terrified. This was new territory. A real wealthy connection. She played her part perfectly. When they met, she was charming, sophisticated. She dropped names of people she didn't know, spoke of investments she hadn't made. Darren was impressed. He found her ambitious, exciting. He fell for the character Alyssa had so painstakingly created. He fell hard. He didn't see the strings. Darren was generous. He liked to spoil the people he cared about. He bought Alyssa expensive gifts, a designer watch, a weekend trip, real luxury. Alyssa in turn showcased these gifts online. Mrs. Lim's kindness, a stepping stone. Mrs. Lim owned a small shop, tucked away on a quiet street. It was filled with antiques, curios, old treasures. Each item had a story. Mrs. Lim was elderly. Her smile was warm, her heart even warmer. She trusted people, perhaps too easily. She had run the shop for 40 years. It was her life, her legacy. She treated her customers like friends. Her kindness was a local legend. Alyssa discovered the shop by chance. It was perfect. The vintage items were ideal props for her old money aesthetic. She introduced herself to Mrs. Lim. She was all charm, all smiles. She complimented the shop. She complimented Mrs. Lim. She spoke of her appreciation for beautiful, timeless things. Mrs. Lim was taken by the polite, well-dressed young woman. She saw a kindred spirit. Or so she thought. The digital reckoning, unmasking Alyssa. Maya Tan couldn't shake her suspicions. She had gathered too much, seen too much. She decided to act. Anonymously at first. She created a post on a popular online forum. Is influencer at Alyssa Cheng Glam who she says she is? She laid out her findings. The mismatched details, the questionable photos, the timeline inconsistencies. She uploaded screenshots, side-by-side comparisons. She pressed send and waited. The post exploded. It tapped into a vein of latent skepticism. Others came forward. People who had seen Alyssa in her real, less glamorous life. Small business owners she had scammed for free products or services in exchange for exposure that never came. Disgruntled former followers who had been blocked for asking simple questions. Each comment added another piece to the puzzle. A collective, digital investigation began. The internet was on the case. Darren Coe, nursing a broken heart and growing doubts about his investments, saw the thread. His stomach dropped. The dates, the stories, the pictures of items he had bought her, now presented as her own. It all clicked, painfully. He contacted Maya, shared his story. His evidence was damning.
Around the same time, Mrs. Lim's granddaughter, worried about her grandmother, found the forum. She posted about the shop. about the borrowed antiques.
Fallen idol, the price of a counterfeit life. Alyssa Cheng went silent. Her vibrant Instagram feed froze. No new posts, no stories. Then a poorly worded apology appeared, full of excuses, minimizing her actions. It only fueled the outrage. Then it too vanished. Her accounts were deactivated, wiped clean, but it was too late. Screenshots were everywhere. The story had a life of its own now. The internet never truly forgets, especially a fall from such fabricated heights. The aftermath was swift and harsh. The few legitimate small brands she had occasionally worked with issued statements, distancing themselves. Her followers, once adoring, felt betrayed, duped. Their comments turned from praise to condemnation. She became a trending topic, a symbol of social media deceit. The public shaming was intense, relentless. The digital pedestal she built for herself became her pillory. There was no escape from the spotlight she once craved. Legal consequences loomed.